COVID-19, I blow the wind of God on you. Alrighty, welcome to God's Country. Markus Harvey here in front of the woodpile once again. This is episode 13 of YATR. It's been a while, but I've been kind of busy, but let's jump right into it. Well, before we get into that, I would like to ask you if you do enjoy this content, or even if you don't, and you want to keep following on what I'm doing, please hit like or subscribe below, and you can follow along with all the fun and games. Okay, today we are going to cover the misconceptions of COVID-19. Now, before I get into my research and whatnot, when I was looking up the information for this, I used things like science and information from globally recognized medical authorities and scientists. So here we go. Let's go with misconception number one, and that is that COVID-19 is no worse than the regular flu. Let's take a look at the statistics. Let's look at the flu versus COVID-19. Now, between the two of them, there are some similar symptoms, such as fever, cough, and fatigue. Whereas with the flu, you're more prone to have headaches and aches and pains. And with COVID, some specific symptoms that you don't get with the flu are shortness of breath, loss of taste and smell, which doesn't bode so well for drinking your whiskey, and possible zombification. Okay, now I may have made that third one up, but it's all in fun. Let's keep going. The main question people are worried about, or the main top of mind concern, is, will I die? So let's look at the statistics for both of them, the flu and COVID-19. Last season in Canada, 42,500 people got the flu, and of that, 1,500 died. So what that means is if you caught the flu last season in Canada, your chances of dying were 1 in 28. Now, COVID-19 cases in Canada are currently sitting at about 200,000, and the deaths in Canada from COVID-19 are currently about 9,800 to 10,000. So what that means is if you have COVID-19, your chances of dying are 1 in 20. Now, you may have noticed that I'm using Canada as my example, and that is because down in the United States of America, it is a dumpster fire of insanity, and the numbers there are skewed way out of control. So I'm sticking to statistics here in Canada because they're more controllable, more accurate, I would believe, and give us a better idea of where this thing is going. So let's look a little deeper into this. So if you caught the flu last season, your chances of dying were 1 in 28. If you've caught COVID-19 currently, based on the statistics and rates of infection and death rates, your chances of dying are 1 in 20, which doesn't sound bad, doesn't sound much different from the flu in that aspect. 1 in 28 with the flu, 1 in 20 with COVID. But let's base that on the actual numbers and the population of Canada. So if you are in Canada with a population of about 38 million, that means if you're talking about the flu, 1 out of every 25,333 Canadians die each year from the flu. But once again, based on current rates of infection and death rates with COVID-19, 1 out of every 3,000 Canadians will die each year from COVID-19. There's your difference right there. 1 out of 25,300 and some for the flu, 1 out of 3,000 for COVID-19. Okay, so to summarize, COVID-19 is not just like the regular flu. If you were to take my little town of Fredericton, for example, over a flu season, we would lose about 2 people. Over a COVID-19 season, you're going to lose about 22. So let's put that one to bed. Let's call that one debunked. The flu and COVID-19, COVID-19 is not your regular flu. Now, let's go to myth or misconception number 2, and that is masks aren't effective. Okay, folks, so, this thing's been going on here where I live since Friday the 13th of March. And back then, earlier on, we were told, you don't need to wear masks, it's okay. But since then, we're 9 months into this thing. There's been just a smidgy more information, studies, testing, and whatnot. And everybody from, the Canadian Medical Association, the CDC, your own doctor, and every publication and organization and scientist that has any weight has told you that masks are effective. So let's put that one right to bed right there. I mean, it's just common sense. Masks stop the spread of COVID-19. It's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt.
But I can't breathe in this thing!
Definitely a no-brainer. I mean, yet there are still people out there that are following, Crazy Karen and her cats and crocheting and her Facebook page of Plandemic and that surfing Santa guy and his crazy toy bag full of conspiracy theories. Just cut it out. I mean, I had a guy call me up, or not call me up, he got a hold of me last week, and he was going on about how the Canadian government, the democratically elected Canadian government, and the top 5%ers, the rich people, were getting us to wear masks and putting fear into us so they could crash the economy and bring in communism. That doesn't even make sense. If you're worried about the economy, here's a little tip for you. Put on a mask, go out and get shopping locally, and support the economy. That's what it's for. Wear a mask, slow down the disease, get rid of the disease so we can open up. We've got that option here in New Brunswick now. Go shopping instead of sitting home, pissing and moaning, and falling down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories while you're on Amazon ordering your shit. It's common sense. Communism. Ugh. Misconception and myth number 3. This is one that is even more out there than the Russians taking over the economy or the Chinese or whatever. And that is UN soldiers are on Canadian soil retrofitting internment camps to hoard people into should they not take the vaccine once it's available. This is a good one. I saw a video, this started going around last week about UN soldiers being on Canadian soil. I believe it was reported, oddly enough, by a group called the Black Sheep Truth Media, which is funny because people who don't believe in these conspiracy theories are called sheeple, but yet this is the Black Sheep Media reporting this. So anyway, listen, the story is, the conspiracy is that the UN has sent soldiers to Canada. They're retrofitting all our old internment camps so that should you turn into a COVID zombie or should you decide not to take the vaccine once it's available, they're going to herd you into these internment camps and essentially jail you until you come to your senses. Now, there was a girl down the road that was kind of going on about this on Facebook saying, there's no way they're going to do that to me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, listen, this isn't facts. So what I decided to do was, we've got an internment camp here in good old New Brunswick. It was the only one in the Atlantic provinces, I do believe. So I put on my reporter hat and I went out and took a look. Let's go see what I found. Markus Harvey here out the old Rishabukdo Road at the site of the old internment camp here in New Brunswick, just outside of Fredericton. As you may have heard, foreign UN soldiers are on Canadian soil right now retrofitting all of the internment camps so that any of you folks that get COVID or decide you're not going to take the vaccine once it's available, you're going to be herded out to these new retrofitted internment camps and essentially prisoned for not taking the vaccine. So I thought I'd come out and take a look and see how the UN soldiers are doing, maybe bring them a coffee, and see how construction is going. Now here's the opening structure as soon as you get here, and as you can see, it looks the same as it did when they tore it down in 1945. I'm not deterred though, there's something up here. Let's take the trail into where the actual internment camps are and where you're going to be housed once you become a COVID zombie. Let's go. Here's the grandstand area. So this would be where they'll be bringing you in to give you all your rules and what you need to do while you're at the internment camp. and process you, I imagine. So it's quite a fancy job the UN soldiers have done building this grandstand. Looks good. Here's the site of the original tennis court, so if they are going to house all of you people who don't take the COVID vaccine, it doesn't look like you're going to get any exercise. All right, so off in that direction is the barracks from the internment camp. You can see no UN soldiers, no buildings being built to house COVID zombies. But I found this culvert. I've got it nicely marked anyway. Let's take a look and see if there's any soldiers hiding in the culvert. Anybody in there? Nope. It's not looking like this conspiracy theory of internment camps getting fired up is real. Okay, so it's not looking like the internment camp here in New Brunswick is getting set up to house all you COVID zombies and anti-vaxxers. But on that same Facebook post where my buddy down the road was going on about not being put into these camps, she had a friend comment that said, I have friends in Australia and they're locked down right now and they're being sent to the internment camps. It's true. Well, here's a little tip for y'all. Your old buddy Harv here used to live in Australia and traveled quite a bit. I was down there in 1994, 95, 96, and 99. And like I said, I lived there, made a few friends. So what I decided to do was I get my old roommate, me old buddy Jolly, to go out and investigate down there and give me a report. Jolly, what are you going to say?
Welcome. Or as we say here in Australia, g'day mate. Yo. That could be American. Whatever. Tim Rogers, foreign correspondent, or otherwise known as Jolly, great old friend of Markus Harvey from the mid to late 90s when we all worked together at a nightclub called the Woolshed in Cairns, Australia. Now the real reason we're here today was to clear up some misnomers about COVID doing the rounds around the world. There was rumours and whispers that the UN was planning on setting up internment camps in Canada and Australia and various countries. As far as I know, the only UN involvement in Australia would be 2 diplomats sitting in an office in Melbourne going to cocktail parties every night. That'd be the only presence they'd have in this country. 99% of Australia is back to normal. I happen to be in the 1% that's been under a 217-day lockdown because, some might say, our Premier, otherwise known as Chairman Dan, seems to have the power gone to his head. And I cannot go further than 5 kilometres from my house. I can only go to a chemist, the Woolworths or your version of the fruit and veg shop, and I can buy a takeaway coffee. Also, this is mandatory for us here. Anytime we go out, the mask. One day we're hoping to end to that. But all in all, Australia has been very largely unaffected by COVID, unlike the rest of the world. America, on the other hand, and who knows with the orange man who lives in the White House, I'm not sure, I don't want to be political, but we'll see what happens there with the elections coming up. Anyway, it's great to be the first correspondent. Tim Rogers, that's spelled Timrogers. And let's not forget Tim Hortons. Anyway, so to answer the question, no UN internment camps here. Once the vaccine comes out, they will try to make it mandatory, and I'm happy with that. And to all the doubters, I'm pretty sure Bill Gates won't be microchipping the rest of the world, and I don't think Hillary Clinton is a lizard.
Jolly. That was one fine piece of reporting. Cheers, mate. Hopefully we'll get to see each other again this September and not have our trip canceled to England so we can get that drink that we wanted to have together with our friends. Okay, folks, that's it for episode 13 of YATR. Thanks for stopping by. Once again, Leave a comment, question, thoughts, ponderings, musings below. Like and subscribe if you want to keep following. And if you don't, don't. But just to recap this episode, COVID-19 is not just like the regular flu. Wearing a mask really is effective, and you can use it to go out and shop your local economy and help with the effort. And 3, UN soldiers are not on Canadian soil or Australian soil setting up internment camps to house all you COVID zombies and anti-vaxxers. It's gonna be okay. Let's stick to the facts, let's stick to the science and the medical professionals as they tell us what to do, and stay off the crazy conspiracy internet rabbit holes. Have a great day, and as always, drink the whiskey, eat the bacon, wear your mask, and tip your waiter. We'll see you next time.